Davin peeps, and welcome to another Davenparty video. If you haven't joined me before, I am Courtney and I am one of Jane's design team members. Now today I thought I'd give you a little experimental, free-flowing thing to do in your journal or on top of tip-ins or all that sort of thing. Something just to sort of relax you and to have a little bit of color play fun. Now I am going to be using the blue acrylic paint. This has become my fast favorite go-to blue. I've become a little bit obsessed with this and I feel that Jane should release the colors singly so I can buy at least 10 bottles of this color. And I'm also going to be using the Bright watercolor palette. I am going to obviously use a watercolor brush. You can use your Jane Davenport travel brushes, but I prefer when I'm at home just to use normal ones. So we're going to do a little bit of drawing. If you are not feeling like you can achieve that, or if you're feeling a bit daunted by the whole fact, you can use the floral stencils that you got with your butterfly book or that you purchased. So there's those if you want to, but I tend to just freehand florals. I like them to be a bit messy and a bit sketchy. But first of all, we are going to grab some watercolor and just pop it onto our journal or your tip-in or whatever you want to work on. If you're not brave enough to do it in your journal, do it on a tip-in. Some of my favorite things to use as tip-ins at the moment are the different size project life cards, and they have been my go-to. I have them in all the sizes and I really enjoy them. Probably the 4x4 is the most, as you can see. And this is kind of what we're doing today. Well, this is basically what we're doing. So these are 4x4s that I've created using this technique, and I'm going to show you what I do to create these. They are very easy, very fun, and very effective. If you just want some visual interest in your journal pages, this is probably one of my favorite things to do. I've also done it in the start of my journal, here at the front, with this same sort of technique. The color in here is actually bleed through from this page. This page was created with mermaid markers. I actually did swatches underneath this and then created the character itself. I may have a video up on YouTube showing this page come to life. But because the mermaid markers bled through a little bit, because I was very heavy-handed, I decided to use this technique to create a visual interest page. And I've also done the same technique around in this area. So as you can see, it's a very simple and fun way to add some visual interest to your journal pages without too much work. And it's fun. Like, it's got to be fun. If I'm going to show you anything, I'm going to show you things that are fun. So I'm just flicking back here to a random page on my journal. And what we're going to do, I will speed up this video, is we're going to get messy and fun with our watercolors. Just play, have color play, do several pages if you feel you want to, try different color combinations, and we're just going to let the watercolors dance around our pages haphazardly or on your tip-ins, whichever you decide to go for. And then we're going to get to the sketching, and I will pop back in and talk to you about my favorite book to use when I'm feeling like I need some inspiration for florals. Florals is what we're doing today because I'm a bit obsessed with them, as you can see. Plants and florals have become a big part in my art journey. I have botanical books all over my studio and I collect them. So one of the ones that is great for beginners, but even I still use it when I'm feeling like I don't really want to create my own flower and I don't want to go on Pinterest. So I'll show you a book that helps with that if you're feeling so inclined. So without further ado, let's get some beautiful watercolors dancing over my pages. for this to dry on your own, and sometimes I do let it dry on its own because those pools and puddles create beautiful sort of visual elements when we're doing the blockout technique. But today I'm going to use the heat gun because I'm impatient and I want to make the art bit. Now, the beauty of forcing it to dry with a heat gun means that you can play around with how they dry, and the textures and the colors dry completely differently when you heat gun it compared to when you actually do it naturally. And I really love these sort of textural elements, and that's what we're going to focus on when we're creating our floral design. We want to pick and choose where we want the colors to be shown through and what we're going to cover up. So kind of look at your watercolor mess, but at your beautiful mess, and figure out what you want to highlight and what you want to get rid of. And that is the beauty of it all together. And part of me really just wants to keep this as a hot corner in my journal, but alas, that would be a very short tutorial and not much of one at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch out a floral design of our choosing. You can do as intricate or as non-detailed as you want. I've just got a pencil and an eraser just to get my lines sorted. Now, if you're feeling a bit daunted by this whole fact, like I said, you can use the stencil and draw that way and use that as your floral element, and that is totally fine. I would totally do that if I wasn't so picky and I like my flowers to be a lot messy and a lot less perfect. And one of the books that I have found the most helpful is 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip and 44 Other Fabulous Flowers by Lisa Congdon. Now, this book is filled with inspiration when it comes to drawing flowers and plants and all those sorts of things. I have totally adored this book and I use it on a daily basis. Maybe not so much a daily basis, but whenever I have the urge to draw florals and I want to be lazy and not draw my own, I will look to this book for inspiration when it comes to, you know, drawing the florals in my everyday journals. This is a great take on all different styles of the same flower. So if you wanted to draw a rose, there are all different ways, from the very detailed to the very stylized. Great book. It wasn't an expensive book and I absolutely loved it. So I still use this book on a day-to-day basis, but today I'm just going to freehand something because that's what I'm feeling the need to do. So let's get started. Once you've got you're happy with your design, I've kind of made sure I've kept as much of the color as I possibly could, focusing on this little detail bit for the center, which means that will show through. You can grab your incredible pen. Mine actually has non-waterproof ink in it at the moment in red, so as much as I would love to use my incredible pen, I still have red ink in here. So today I am going to use a 0.1 Rotary Tiki Graphic. This is my go-to sort of sketching pen, and let me see if this is, yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to outline it in black to make it easier to see when it comes to the acrylic paint stage. So as you can see, this technique lends itself very, very well to messy, stylized flowers. So that means a lot less stress on you if you just want to experiment with florals. Now our next part is to grab our desired paint. I am using the dark blue Jane acrylic paint because, like I said, I am obsessed with it. And then I am going to outline. So not so much outline, but in the areas where there's no pen work, we're going to cover that up, and then it's going to leave just the colored floral in the background. And I am going to move some of the blue down the page because I want to use it as a, you know, something visually interesting on my journal page. This is great for your Jane Davenport brushes that came in your paint set. I do also have a couple of small ones just to help with the really fine lines, because I am not the what's the word, most talented in the area of fine lining work. In pen, I'm fabulous. In paint, not so fabulous. So if you can get those fine lines with this little brush, I praise you, I bow down to you, but I need a tiny little brush to get into the nooks and crannies, especially little areas like this where there is a little gap between the petals. Like I said, the tutorials that I show you on the Davenparty page are for everybody, and it is something that is easy and stress-free, and there are so many different combinations from plants to colors. In my next video, we're actually going to tackle our huge art journal cover, and we're going to do an animal in this sort of technique. But I thought I'd just ease you in first with a little bit of fun florals for you guys so that you get a bit more confidence, and maybe you can attack your art journal cover as well with me when it comes time. So without more babbling and stuff like that, I'm going to grab my paint and I'm going to paint around the edges, and it is so easy, simple and fun. Anyone can basically do this technique. Now, if you are happy with that, then you are done. It is as simple as that to do this little technique. But sometimes I like to add another color like a white. This is the gesso, and I use that as a white acrylic paint. And sometimes if I don't want to leave any sort of white space, I will come in and just add a little bit of the gesso or a fluoro pink or something, and just sort of use that to, you know, make the page a little bit different, not just all blue, even though I have obviously done that in the past. But it is so very simple, it is so very effective, and the changes and the factors that can completely change this is amazing. You can do different color combinations, you can do different flowers. Your flowers will never ever be the same because your watercolors are always going to mix differently on the page. They're always going to have a different sort of mixing and drying effect. It really is limitless on what you can do with this sort of technique. Now, I absolutely love this technique, and it is something that looks beautiful and takes absolutely no time at all to do. I have literally done this whole thing in the span of about 10 to 15 minutes, and that's me being slow so that I made sure that I got all the little nooks and crannies all painted. But it is such an easy way to add visual interest to your journal pages, or even doing tip-ins and then journaling on the backside. You could come in with your paint over pens and use that to journal over. The fantastic thing about the acrylic paint is that it's matte and your pens are not going to have a fit over them. I was using some Liquitex paint markers the other day, and they dry with like a plasticky feel and no pen likes them. So having a matte acrylic paint means that you will not ruin your pens when you journal on top of them. So I will probably come back in when I want to journal, because obviously I'm not going to journal today because I've done this several pages back in my journal. But it means that I can come back in with a white pen and do my journaling over the top of this, and it will look really, really punchy and bright and fantastic because the matte acrylic paint is so easy and versatile to work over the top. So I hope you've enjoyed this very simple and quick way to spice up your journal pages or tip-ins. I will be back very soon with the journal cover, and we're going to have some fun with the same sort of technique but a little bit different, and also using the collage papers to create an animal on the front of our things. So I hope you give this a try because it's so easy and fun and simple. Anyone can do it. If you want to use your stencils, you certainly can, and use that as your floral outline. You can look up florals on the internet, Pinterest, all that sort of thing. I love botanical books, and I love incorporating whimsy botanicals in my journals, and sometimes I will come back in and do a little bit more pen work, more lines and stuff, but for now I'm just giving you the very, very straight, simple way of doing it so you do not feel overwhelmed creatively. So that is it from me today. I hope you've had a wonderful time watching this, and I really do hope to see some beautiful mottled florals in your journals soon. Please tag me on them if you do, because I just love seeing how everyone's take is so very different and so unique to your own styles. But I am really, as you can see, obsessed with doing this for some reason. It's so instant gratification kind of thing, and I am totally down for instant gratification when it comes to art, especially with a mum of 2 kids and a full-time job. It is awesome to be able to steal moments of time here and there and create beautiful art that takes me next to no time, and I feel like I've achieved something. So that is it from me. Have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!